We begin the show tonight in the NFL with Thursday night football as the New England Patriots beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 21-18. For the Patriots, Bailey Zappi went 19 of 28. He threw for 240 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. For the Steelers, Mitchell Trubisky went 22 of 35. He threw for 190 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So, as I watched this matchup last night between the Patriots and the Steelers, first and foremost, I was shocked. I was completely shocked that the Patriots and the Steelers combined to score 39 points. I thought this game was going under. I didn't even think Bailey Zappi or Mitchell Trubisky were either capable of being able to score more than 14 points. I was stunned that the Patriots had 21 points in the first half, and it shocked me that the Steelers were able to score 18 points. I was completely shocked. I thought this game was going well under. I think this was coming into this matchup. This was the lowest number far as over-unders in NFL history, and I was surprised that they got to 39 points. It definitely shocked me. But also, as I watched this game, the biggest takeaway for me is the Pittsburgh Steelers are exactly who we thought they were at the beginning of the season. Despite them winning football games, they were always a bad football team because offensively, the Pittsburgh Steelers are pathetic. It has gotten to a point to where the Pittsburgh Steelers, when I watch games, it's hard for me to stay awake. It is hard for me to stay awake during Pittsburgh Steelers football games. And I love Mike Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin is one of the greatest coaches in the NFL today. I think he's one of the greatest coaches in NFL all time. Never had he's really had a lot of multiple winning seasons, since he's been the head coach. And he is a great coach in that organization. But at this point, offensively, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they are awful. They're awful. And Mike Tomlin, I believe he's never had a losing season in all of his years of being a coach. But as great of a coach Mike Tomlin is, I believe that the reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers are struggling the way that they are is because of Mike Tomlin's loyalty and being so loyal for so long. But it's interesting because remember a few weeks ago, the Steelers, they fired Matt Canada. And they blame Matt Canada for their offensive struggles. And since they fired Matt Canada, they've had back-to-back losses to 2 football teams in the Arizona Cardinals and the New England Patriots, who both had 2 wins going into the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Steelers became the first team over 500 to lose back-to-back games to teams 8 games or more under 500 in NFL history. Yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers, just over the last 5 days, they just lost to the Arizona Cardinals and the New England Patriots. And they're somewhere, Matt Canada is laughing right now at the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are awful offensively. You look at their numbers last night. They went 3 of 14 on third down. They only had 264 total yards of offense for the game, and they had the ball for 32 minutes. So it's not like they didn't have the football. They had the ball for 32 minutes and only had 264 yards of offense. They went 3 of 14 on third down. And mind you, this is a Steelers team that even in week 13 against the Arizona Cardinals, the Steelers went 4 of 11 on third down last week in week 13. In that game, they also struggled offensively, despite them having the football for 30 minutes in the game. So in back-to-back weeks, the Pittsburgh Steelers have had the football for 30 minutes or more, and they haven't been able to convert on third down, and they're not able to score points. And you look at Mitchell Trubisky. How the hell was Mitchell Trubisky still in the NFL? Can someone come and tell me how Mitchell Trubisky still has a job? Like, how? I don't understand for the life of me how Mitchell Trubisky keeps getting opportunities to play in the National Football League. There are some quarterbacks at the collegiate level who can play better at the quarterback position than Mitchell Trubisky is playing right now. But what's funny is, even with Kenny Pickett, this Pittsburgh Steelers offense was horrible. And it got to a point to where I was saying, okay, Kenny Pickett's not really good, but this entire offensive scheme for the Steelers is bad. I look at other teams in the NFL and I think about offense. Like, when I look at the Green Bay Packers, I think of offense. When I look at the Kansas City Chiefs with Andy Reid, I think offense. When I look at the Dallas Cowboys with Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy, I think offense. When I even look at the Philadelphia Eagles with Nick Sirianni as their head coach and Jalen Hurts as their quarterback, I think offense. When I look at the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin, it reminds me of Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick can't draft players on the offensive side of the ball to save his life. He's a terrible GM at being able to draft and develop offensive talent. Now, the Steelers, on the other hand, with Mike Tomlin, they do draft offensive talent. They got nice receivers in Pickens and Deontay Johnson in their offense, and they also got Pat Freiermuth. But the problem with the Pittsburgh Steelers is, since Ben Roethlisberger retired, they haven't been able to find a quarterback to get the football to their weapons that they have offensively. You look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, they don't have bad weapons offensively. At running back, you got Najee Harris. You got Jalen Warren. Okay, at receiver, you got Deontay Johnson. You got George Pickens. At tight end, again, you got Pat Freiermuth. So they got weapons offensively, unlike the New England Patriots. They just don't know how to develop a quarterback who can get their weapons the football. And they don't have a good scheme either. Like, I don't understand for the life of me how George Pickens doesn't have more receptions in this offense. For whatever reason, Mitchell Trubisky doesn't want to throw George Pickens the football. He throws Deontay Johnson the football, but he doesn't want to throw George Pickens the football. George Pickens last night had more receptions than Deontay Johnson, but there were multiple opportunities for Pickens where he was open to get the football, and Mitchell Trubisky just did not throw him the ball. He just didn't throw him the ball. So right now, it is bad right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is in the last 40 seasons. They have the third fewest points per game as a team with a winning record. So a team with a winning record with the fewest points per game, they have the third fewest in the last 40 years. They average 16 points per game, and that's only better than the 1988 Patriots and 1982 Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts in 1982 averaged 14 points per game, and the 1988 Patriots averaged 15.6 points per game. So they just don't score points. Their offense is awful. We know how great they are defensively with J.J. Watt, with Highsmith. And we know Mike Tomlin is one of the best defensive coaches in the NFL. But offensively, they are horrible. They are horrible, and it is hard to watch. It really is hard to watch this Pittsburgh Steelers team on offense. And I'm looking at the Steelers' schedule right now. At 7-6 in the AFC, I'm not so sure the Steelers are going to make the playoffs. Week 15, they are in Indy going up against Gardner Minshew. That's another football team that has an offensive-minded head coach in Shane Steichen. Look at what he's doing with Gardner Minshew, a backup quarterback. Colts are 7-5, and they are in the wild card race in the AFC. So week 15, they are in Indy against the Colts. Week 16, they are home against the Bengals. The way Jake Browning is playing right now, that's not a guaranteed win. Week 17, they are in Seattle against Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle's trying to make the playoffs, so that will be a tough game for the Steelers. And they finish up week 18 against the Ravens, who are fighting for home field advantage in the playoffs. So at 7-6 right now, I could see the Patriots finishing 7-10 and not winning another game this season. Maybe even 8-9. And in the AFC, 8-9 will not get you into the playoffs. But right now, the Patriots and the Steelers, both of these football teams are going absolutely nowhere with defensive head coaches. Like, it is an offensive league. It's an offensive league. And I love Mike Tomlin and Bill Belichick. They are two of the greatest coaches in NFL history. But because Bill Belichick can't draft and develop offensive talent, and because Mike Tomlin can't find and develop a competent quarterback, the New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers will be struggling in the AFC for future seasons to come, because you have to have an offense to win in the NFL. And you got to be able to put up points. And neither the Patriots or Steelers can do that. So those are my thoughts on the Thursday night football game between the Patriots and the Steelers.